Well, it's Sunday, another warm one, big surprise. Getting used to that. You can hear my trusty washing machine going for it. Decided to get the sheets done. It's always nice to have a bed with fresh sheets, I reckon. Thought I'd show you the progress taking place on the capsicum seeds that I actually got from my own homegrown plants. I planted them in this particular container. What I find is the capsicums do well in large containers. Now that's the equivalent over there, and that's my most productive plant, and it's doing rather well. And I've also learnt not to water the leaves because you'll get this you can get this white sort of mold, a powdery mold under the leaves, and so it's recommended to just water down at the base so to avoid that occurring, because I can't see any of that's growing there, but I saw it once and looked it up, and it is fairly normal. As you can see, there's a whole lot of dead foliage that I've got to drag up and take and bin, and tomorrow is binning day for the fronds. Even more fronds have dropped off the last few days. It's been quite bad. So like I say, you've got to do it every week, and but it's really nice to see that the ones that I did harvest, I didn't put them on paper as they recommend. I just left them in the actual pod where they that I cut out from the actual fruit when I harvested it to cook. So it works fine as long as the seeds aren't wet, I guess. You just put them under the surface there, and there's a couple that have come up. I don't know how many I put in, probably about 8. There's more than a couple. You can see there's a few there actually. I don't know how the macro lens works on this camera, but hopefully you've got a decent idea of what I'm talking about. So that was good. I'm noticing overall the moisture retention seems to be improving with the soil, because well, I haven't actually added anything that much to the soil on the front, but there's quite a big wet patch there now. So, and I'm very happy with the way the candlestick plant is going. It's going gangbusters, as you can see. Yeah, they're doing okay here. I just got to always water this Vietnam mint. It requires a lot of water. But here's the ginger. Now, maybe I'm deluding myself, but I think that may well... Oh, there's two. When I last looked this morning, there was only one shoot. Now there appears to be 2 shoots coming out there. That's in the periphery of the actual... I guess you call it a bulb that I planted, the ginger bulb. I thought I put it right in the centre there, but look, maybe it's grown out from the actual bulb and it's come up there, because they look very much like a couple of shoots there to me. So that's really good. So things are finally happening. That's taken probably about 8 days for them to come up. Normally it's between 5 and 10 days, I think, is the time frame you're looking at. And here I've got these are my newest sort of spinach substitutes, tropical spinach substitutes. They're growing okay, a little slow, but they're growing. It appears as if some life on these ones. These were larger seeds, and they seem to be taking longer to germinate. I don't know if either of those have actually germinated. So just maybe wishful thinking on that one. This is stuff I weeded yesterday that shows how much it's so easy to get extra foliage happening here, just being in the tropics. And the plants down the back here, they all seem to be doing pretty well. I can feel moisture under me. It's just, like I say, it seems to be retaining a bit more, even though it's been quite dry for the last few weeks. So I'm not watering as much as I was. I was doing it on a daily basis, but now I'm sort of cut it back. I've still got a bit of grass cutting to do. You can see it's a bit messy around there. For instance, there's a bit of weeding and edging to be done. Now you can see that the compost bin's pretty full because the grass clippings seem to fill it up a bit, but they also seem to die off pretty quickly, or to brown up fairly quickly, and they'll compact into the actual bottom of the compost bin, so that's good. But yeah, I'm fairly happy with all these plants. I mean, I've got some flowering plants here. I might add a few more. There's actually some seeds I haven't even put in yet, which haven't even germinated, and they're actually for propagation of, well, they're supposed to be good for bees and other insects. They're supposed to attract them, so I'll have to plant those and get them going. So that's the thing. Now I'm going to get the arborist is supposed to be coming around sometime in the near future to basically dig up all these roots. This is all from the gum tree. Shows how extensive the root system is. And as you can see, the gum tree is still alive there. There's a rubber, I mean, that's the rubber tree, not gum tree, rubber. The gum, I keep saying gum, rubber tree is resurrected, and it's growing quite profusely. So it needs to all be dug out, and they can do that. They can either use a stump grinder to do it, or they might be able to use some other implement. But also this plastic bin or plastic pot is half disintegrated. I want to dig all that crap out of here, so I've got a fresh area here to work with. Maybe I can even put some ferns in here, which would be nice. I like ferns. I'm a bit of a fern fanatic. Tree ferns, that is. But it does look attractive there. My neighbour has actually since he's put pebbles or something down on there. It had some heavy earth moving equipment working there a couple of days ago, and it looks as though that's what they've actually done. So see, I've got a ditch here right down the back. This is a common ditch. I don't know if you can see that too. That actually goes right along the fence line for all the properties here. My neighbour there and there. And that's owned by the council, and they look after that. And it looks as though she's not going to have any plants down the back here for some reason. I don't know why she's done it that way. She's got some over there, but that sort of exposes my area. There's no real need to have a fence as such here because it's quite elevated. Look, I've got another option. What I could do is put some creepers in there, and that'll basically cover that whole area. So that's another option here, but I'm quite happy that I've actually planted all these plants here anyway. It's sort of motivated me to do that. So, you know, it's an ill wind, as they say. So that's good. Yeah, it's actually a good opportunity to just talk about how things have been here, because it's 6 months now. I moved in June this year. So we're talking pretty well 6 months, and yeah, it's definitely been a positive experience. I've got no problems at all with being here. The initial buzz of being in a new place is way past. That's to be expected, but it's still been really good. I've only had one noisy neighbour night, and that was the property over there. They had a big party, went through to about 3 or 4 a.m. It wouldn't have been so bad if I'd had my bed set up at the opposite end of the house, because I would have been able to avoid all the noise and just get my shut-eye there. So I've done that now, so I'm prepared for anything like that in the future. But like I said, it's only been once in 6 months, so it's hardly been a major problem. So overall, quite peaceful here. At night, it's really great to sleep. Much better than Parramatta Park. Living in flats really sucks for me. Although I looked up a survey, and it found that a recent survey did a Google search, and I found that the people in flats were marginally more content with their lives than people in houses, and I felt that was extraordinary. I mean, in a flat, you don't have to worry about maintenance of the place. You don't have to mow the lawn. You don't have to do any of the gardening stuff. You don't have to worry about maintaining the house. So there are advantages, sure, because you've got the body corporate, may be a pain in the ass, but it does at least take care of all that crap. So that's good if you don't want to worry about maintenance. And you know, I'm not a huge fan of having to do that stuff, but it's not. I'm time rich, so I can actually handle it okay. That's not a major issue. So, and look, I mean, it is lovely being down here by the beach, and I have actually made sure that I at least visit the beach once a week. And it's a pleasant experience. It's nice walking along the beach. Um, got a really, oh, that's a beautiful breeze right now. Lovely. Ah, it's nice. Yeah, this is a great area here. It'd be terrific if I had some friends here could sort of have some entertaining happening here. It'd be perfect because it is a lovely area. And even though this is summer, it's actually not that oppressive most of the time. You'll get a few days here and there that are really bad, and they'll happen a little later, generally in January and February, and even March for that matter. March can be pretty damn hot. I still haven't used the aircon. I should be basically just putting each aircon unit through its paces for about quarter of an hour to 20 minutes. I was meant to do that prior to us going into the summer period because I think that there is a peak tariff. I still haven't checked this. They're up to about 9 p.m. and after 9 p.m. it goes to off-peak, which is the normal tariff all day during non-summer period. Summer, of course, is December, January, and February. Which again I think is pretty silly because really the hot period doesn't finish till about the 20th of March. So they really, I think Ergon would be smart to adjust those tariffs. But again, I may be on a different tariff. I'm in a different place. I'm happy with the consumption charges at the moment. I mean, it's less than $60 a month, so I've got nothing to complain about. The only person I know of who actually had less was this the quirky Irish guy who lived in the block of flats that I was in previously in Parramatta Park. He had some extraordinarily low figure of maybe in the 40s or something, which I think is about as low as you can possibly get. Maybe he just never used his lights, or I don't know how he kept it down that low. He obviously never used aircon, but he was a bit strange. Anyway, well, I thought he was anyway. Maybe being way too judgmental. Uh, yeah, but look, it's a lovely Sunday here, and transport, it is a little isolated, but it hasn't been a huge issue, and I've been able to get most things delivered. And if you order stuff through the post office and what have you, it's much better here because they deliver to your house. And that just didn't happen at Parramatta Park. They always copped out and they just put the note in the letterbox that I had to go, and they switched the post offices to Westcourt, which was really inconvenient for me. It used to be in the centre of Cairns, which was convenient, but then because all the people with cars wanted to have car parking spaces, and so because I didn't have a car, I wasn't in that mix, and no one gave us stuff. So yeah. Anyway, that's it's much better in that regard too. The negatives are very few. I can't think of many. I mean, it's a nice area to walk around. I think if anything, things are going to get better here because the Northern recreational trail is going to be completed, so you'll be able to ride a bike or walk directly through to the next beach. So that's good. Both beaches are, both Clifton and Palm Cove, so that'll be great. So things are getting better. We don't have much in the way of we don't have really a proper restaurant as such here. Apparently there is a restaurant of sorts up in the shopping centre, but there's nothing really compared to those other suburbs. Both Clifton Beach and Palm Cove have a huge choice of places to eat and drink at, which we just don't have here. And yeah, I did actually get the app that allows me to go to Trinity Beach Tavern. It gives you a $10 bonus just by signing up, and if you use the app, you get discounts and stuff. I might use it, but still haven't gone down there. So I could. There's nothing really stopping me. It's about a half-hour walk, so it's not hard to do. It's good exercise, quite a nice walk overall, not bad. Because the Trinity Beach Tavern is in a great location, being on the beach. Um, if it was about half the distance, I'd be going more often, but it's not like it's insurmountable. So I could do that. Um, but yeah, facilities here are a little limited. There's a lot of jobs I've got to get done in this place. I mean, I want to get the all the bedrooms and the bathrooms tiled. That's a fair bit of work. Um, and I'd love to do it out in the garden there too, because this is a lot of work to do the mowing, and anything. And it's I mainly want to get the paving done for aesthetic purposes. It'll just make the garden look nicer, but it has that side benefit of cutting down the amount of mowing required too. So it's a smart move all around, and that may be the thing I probably should prioritise, because it does have that added benefit of reducing the maintenance load here. The other way I could do that too is actually cutting down even more palm trees here, because they're the ones that keep dropping all the foliage. And you can see there's quite a big pile of foliage over there as well. Just keeping pace with that's going to be half the battle, and I've got to get clear out the stuff there. So it's quite a bit of work to be done there. But it is getting less. It's a long-term battle to get rid of that crap. Um, but yeah, I'm way ahead on my mortgage, so that goal has been achieved. So financially, the house isn't really much of a burden. I've lost weight too. I got myself weighed the other day, and I'm down to 82 kilos, 82 and a half, I think it is. And one stage I think it was up to about 88 or even 90. So I've lost a fair bit of weight, and that's got to be a good thing. And I'm still only eating one meal a day on most days. Some days I'll have something during the day, but most I don't. So, and I don't feel I'm suffering hunger pangs. As long as I have my big cup of coffee in the morning, I seem to be fine. So, and I've got enough discipline to basically not eat until after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's a fairly early dinner I have, because but then again, I haven't been eating all day, so I suppose that's fair enough. And I got up at 5:30 this morning, so you tend to get up early. The only time the transport appeared to be an issue was when I had a medical appointment and there was a bus strike. It's the first bus strike I've encountered, and I asked the bus driver when I went into town last Wednesday whether that had been called off. And he said, yeah, he had to think about it, but he said, yeah, the strike had been called off. So I could have actually gone the previous week to see the doc, as it turned out. So, but that was the only time that it made it real that I was actually in an isolated spot, because the bus is super important as a transport lifeline for me. So if there was any prolonged industrial action, that would really affect me. So yeah, that's something to think about. But it's not to the extent of getting stuff delivered from the supermarket. I mean, I can get that done all the time. Although apparently there's problems. There's some additive with diesel. I think it's going to be in short supply due to all these supply chain issues. So we might find that big trucks won't be able to run. That'd be a huge disaster if we couldn't get deliveries. I mean, there's lots of challenges for the world at the moment, and my personal prediction too regarding the Omicron variant is that we'll find that it's no big deal. No one seems to have died from it, so that's the good news. The stock market totally freaked out, of course, but it's starting to recover, and I think it could actually have a mini boom next week, because it's so volatile. It overreacts to bad news, and anything seen as halfway decent news, it'll shoot up again. So don't be surprised if it gets stronger again. We'll see, but Yeah, that's my prediction anyway. So look, overall, 6 months here, very happy. No complaints. Definitely the right move. Yeah, I really feel as though I'm embracing the tropical lifestyle by being in my own home where I can create my own garden atmosphere with tropical plants and the fruits uh, and vegetables that I can grow here all year round, and so I can be a little self-sustainable. I'm not so big on the organic stuff as such. I don't notice much difference in flavour and what have you. They always say that things will taste a lot better. Maybe another variety of tomatoes might, because the bigger tomatoes are pretty crappy, the ones you get at supermarkets. The cherry ones aren't so bad. And the ones I've grown myself are pretty similar to the ones I get in the supermarket. I haven't noticed much difference. But if I get the larger tomato, if I grow the larger tomatoes myself, I think I'll find that they'll be a lot more flavoursome than the ones you get in the supermarket. But it's been good. I've had the capsicums. That's been godsend. And if if I'm able to start growing ginger and say garlic, that'll save me a bit of money too, and provide me with fresh ingredients. I don't normally usually use the ginger powder, but I'll be able to actually have fresh ginger, so that'd be nice for a change. Anyway, all good. Very happy. I'm definitely going to do more travel, but I think it's going to be Queensland-based travel will be my priority for the time being. Hopefully, my trip in to Brisbane will be a bit of a success, and I'll find that the city's got a fair bit to offer, and I may make that quite a regular occurrence. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, the move up here to the house has been a really good move, and I'm very happy to be here. And the negatives are very few, and the positives way outweigh them. So I can see why there's so many Victorians, for instance, who want to move up here. I think that's very sensible. Why wouldn't you? Anyway, have a great day, and fingers crossed that the stock market goes bust, boom, rather than bust next week.